Welcome back, everybody. This is qualifier number 4, of TLS Season 3, and we are going on to a PBT now from the round of 32. It is going to be dsaqwe, aka Lockdog, versus vOddy.
Interesting. So vOddy, another good player. We've heard of him many times before. Has he participated in the previous qualifiers, though? That's what I'm interested to see, because we haven't seen him yet. We haven't casted him yet, at least. But he is, he's a guy who's been around on the scene for a while. He's a good player. I wouldn't have said usually that he's of the caliber of dsaqwe quite, but after dsaqwe's performance yesterday, I have to say, definitely in with a shot.
Well, I'm a little bit confused here, Elegant, because vOddy participated in TLS Season 1, but he played Zerg and Protoss. So he race picked PBZ, and he played Zerg, and now he's playing Terran. So I don't know what's going on
That is
there.
interesting. I don't.
And not only is he playing Terran, but he's playing Terran on a map that's not good for TVP. So it's like, huh? What?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So vOddy pulling out the unexpected stuff right away there before the game even starts. But I'm interested to see what dsaqwe does today, because after yesterday, he's just got to be more careful of that. He's got the quality to do much better. And going out to, I think it was Enjoy Me, is definitely an upset. So he's going to be. He's got to improve on that performance today, and he's got a player to prove himself against in vOddy.
Yeah, I mean, vOddy, of course, as I said, played in season number 1, so he's definitely decent, if not necessarily the top level foreigner. So I think winning here for dsaqwe would be quite important to kind of show that he's not that terrible in tournament situations.
I would say so.
Yeah. So well, I guess we'll see what happens here then. Again, you ready?
Ready to go.
All right, here we go. Alright, here we go. At the left side as the orange Terran, we have Mr. vOddy himself, and at 12 o'clock position as the green Protoss, we have dsaqwe.
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick little bit of bracket searching now, and it does appear that vOddy has been playing so far in the qualifiers. In qualifier number 1, he went out to 7x Justice. In qualifier 2, it seems he played against some rather bizarre character called Schweeble, and somehow lost in a 0-0 draw. So some of these bracket results are a little bit confusing, but apparently Schweeble must have got a walkover versus what I would guess. I can't see where he placed the qualifier 3, but he has been playing, so he is around and about. But this is the first time he's apparently been worthy of casting. So presumably doing a little bit better in this qualifier than the previous ones. Of course, I don't think he's going to be anywhere near any kind of points qualifying position, because as we can see, he hasn't advanced too deep in the previous qualifiers, going out in fairly early rounds in both of them. So he needs to win this one, or he's going to be going home.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering, second place finish does give you 85 points, I believe. That may be enough depending on how the rest of the players go. So depending on how, like, 9 through 12 plays today, it may or may not be enough. So that's quite interesting, actually. Anyway, I'm pretty sure we'll have someone counted up at the end of today, and we can find out. Muka always does a good job of updating the Liquipedia page.
Yeah, he does.
Really quickly. So we can probably get a good idea there.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few guys who are going to be watching that points total really closely, because I mean, it must be a bit nerve-wracking when you've done your bit and when you're no longer playing anymore, and you're just waiting to see who else performs. Well or not well. It's got to be a little bit scary. So I think there's probably going to be a few guys F5ing on that one. You're
just looking at the guy who's above you in the ranking. You're like, please lose, please just drop out. please hit Zaraki or some Gosu player in the first round or something.
Yeah. So that's gonna be really interesting actually to see who gets through on points, because there's only a couple of people who are actually guaranteed to make it through. As you said earlier, there's a lot of kind of scope for switching up and down at the lower levels of the points table. Meanwhile, we have some pretty normal stuff happening from both of these guys. We have fairly standard timings from both. Yeah, absolutely standard. But I was about to say, I thought there were no guys on gas from vOddy, which I found bizarrely strange. But I just caught it at a bad time.
Yeah, it looks like it's 2 guys off, so it's going to be a fast expand here. Almost certainly an FD opening. I have occasionally actually seen all guys pulled, but generally you leave one on, as you say. Now, what was I going to say? Oh yes, dsaqwe, of course, has very good PvZ. Of course, I mentioned the other day that he's beaten Killer actually in a straight-up game, and apparently also beat Seiki in practice games. But I don't know how good his PvT is. Now, usually the PvT is supposed to be the good matchup for Protoss players, but that's not necessarily the case. So I guess we'll see what he pulls out here.
Many people can struggle with PvT. One, I think, is technically the easier matchup, but there's the skill ceiling is so high with all the matchup and is far above anyone who's playing today. So of course it doesn't really matter so much at these levels, but a player who's underconfident in any matchup can lose in the technically stronger matchup very easily.
Why is there a bunker, Elegant?
I don't know. Why is there a bunker cell?
I mean, he's doing an FD, right? I'm not crazy. Okay, let's see what he researches. Okay, he's gonna make a tank first, and then he'll get something. Oh, he's not making. Okay, there's a tank. So this should be mines, right? Unless he's doing some kind of weird siege expand after pulling guys off gas. It could. Usually the bunker means siege expand, and he's actually like put a marine in it. So this actually looks to me like siege expand. I mean, he scouted everything that was in the Protoss base, so there's no reason for him to expect some kind of 10-15 gate. So
it is a siege expand, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. This is not something you see very often anymore. It's you know, kind of fallen out of favor compared to the FD. So yeah, a bit of an old school type build, but I mean, it's still okay. It's not bad. The problem with it is that it's like completely defensive. You have no option to put pressure on your opponent in the early game, which is why I think most Terrans don't do it anymore, because the Protoss can basically just do whatever they want.
Yeah, and you can see that point because when you just take a look at it now, vOddy is going to be getting the expansion up at roughly the same time as dsaqwe. dsaqwe is just completely safe. He doesn't have to make any unnecessary extra dragoons. He does already have a second gateway, which he made before his robo, which I actually think is quite interesting upon seeing the siege expand to make the second gateway before robo.
Did he see it though?
He should have done. I'm not entirely sure, but he should have still had a scout around the back. I don't know if he did.
I'm not, the only way for him to have scouted it would have been to see the bunker, and I'm not sure if he actually saw that. So I don't think dsaqwe actually necessarily knows what's going on. As soon as he gets hit by a siege tank, he'll obviously know. So yeah, now he knows exactly what's going on.
Twice.
And he can probably just expand again right now, actually.
Yeah, he
I would actually just make a Nexus.
Too late. Definitely not too late at this point. He's probably not going to be producing too many more dragoons. He's got one more dragoon on the way, but he can probably then cut them in order to get another Nexus or something. And that's what I would imagine he would do. But no, he is continuing on his dragoon production and is making. Well, he's making an observatory. There's not too much to glean from that, but we're going to see what he's going to do right here. But no obvious intention to make another base quite yet. He's certainly not rushing, if so.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by this. I mean, if he's not going to make a Nexus, then he probably will just add on 2 more gateways or something like that and play much more conservative. You know, 1 gate expand into 2 gate with obs and then get 2 more gates. I mean, this is very standard transition for this kind of build. But I would have expected seeing something very passive like a siege expand. You might want to try and take that extra base. I mean, it's not too hard to defend. You're expanding away from the Terran anyway if you get that mineral only. But you know, as you say, it doesn't look like he's doing that. He's actually getting a second gas already. Is he getting a Citadel? Yeah, he's getting a Citadel now. So, alright, I guess he doesn't want to go for that. I mean, that's okay, you know, because if you go for the fast 30 base, you know, you can sometimes get owned by some kind of fast 2-fact aggression or 4-fact aggression or something like that. And we actually have a starport already with control tower, so we're going to see some drops incoming. Of course, the natural is cliffable on this map. You can tank drop it, and of course, it'll be very easy for him to drop the back of the Protoss main as well, given the spawn locations.
Yeah, I think that that's what's going to happen because dsaqwe definitely going to want to take advantage of that. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't as a Terran player. That's a really vOddy's going to take advantage of that, and I don't know why you wouldn't as a Terran player. It's a really great way to punish any Protoss who basically doesn't make a shuttle, which is of course the norm. dsaqwe still showing no intention to make a 3rd base. He's going to be really quite committed to his fast arbiter build.
He's going 2 base arbiters,
which is not too out of the ordinary, but it is kind of an interesting choice when he did have the option completely. He scouted the siege expand not too late to throw down another base. So it's a little bit unusual. Both these guys playing a fairly old school style right here. And we do now have an observer floating into, well, near to the main base of vOddy as well. There's interestingly not a single missile turret on the map, so it's going to find absolutely no resistance there, but not quite getting far enough in to see the dropship, and that's a little bit of unfortunate for dsaqwe, because he does not have any dragoons waiting back in his main, so he's not going to be wise to this for quite some time.
Yeah, this drop could definitely do a lot of damage. Fortunately for dsaqwe, he didn't like rush super quickly for the Arbiter, so he does have observers out. He does have a decent number of goons, so we can pull them back. Let's see how many probes he is going to lose here. Decent reaction time by him. He's going to get the rest of the probes out of there, though. So it looks like only losing 1 probe so far, from what I can tell. Okay, 2 probes. Going to lose the gas probes as well. That's an expected loss that you have to take. Crucially, his build has also been scouted, so now the Vultures see the fast Arbiters. And that's going to be quite important, because I was going to say that actually the build that vOddy's chosen is really dangerous, especially on this map. He's gone for a fast third with only 3 factories and the starport. So he's gone both for harassment and for a fast third base, meaning his ground army is going to be quite weak, and yet he's trying to get a third base on a map that is very difficult for Terran to take a third base. It's very, very open. It's very far away. This game plan seems quite risky from vOddy. If it pays off and he doesn't immediately die, he'll be in a great position. But I just think it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen, especially if you look at the number of gateways dsaqwe has got up and running right now. He has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gateways going, and that's a lot for even a fast Arbiter build. That is a lot.
Probe's getting stuck though. Probe's getting stuck on the gateways.
Been seriously stuck for quite a while, so that's not exactly top efficiency with dsaqwe's mining right there.
This is what happens when you build gateways like this, touching each other in between your nexuses when you're trying to transfer. This is like always happens. This is drives me crazy. Look, they can't actually figure out how to go there. So they're now stuck in an infinite loop. Look, it's an infinite loop. It's an infinite probe loop. That's what this is.
Can't even watch. It's just too annoying. Why on my map? On my map, I still see orange in the back of dsaqwe's base.
Really?
Do you see that on your mini map?
No.
I still see as if there are 3 spider mines in the back. Okay, that's weird. It keeps confusing me a little bit. We now have a little bit of assault coming in here from dsaqwe. He's going to be able to nearly take out that Wraith, and he might be able to get all the way in amongst these siege tanks with his speed loss as well. dsaqwe really going for it all the way in right here, and it could just be successful unless there are enough reinforcements coming from the back for vOddy. He might just have enough to deal with this. It looks like he does. Ooh. Big waste of units right there from dsaqwe, losing a fair number of goons, losing plenty of his zealots as well, losing the majority of them, giving chase with a few vultures, losing the Wraith. That's a little bit unfortunate, but not too much of a big deal since we actually have no shuttle-based activity at all from our friend dsaqwe, but a really misguided attack right there, wasting lots of units. And now dsaqwe is also behind in third base timing as well. He's just getting his third base up and running now, and you kind of expect that with fast Arbiter build, but he crucially doesn't really have any ground army left with which to do any kind of recall or anything like that and pull his opponent around. Yeah,
that attack is interesting. Like, it didn't look like a good idea going in, even though in theory you're like, well, you know, Terran went for a fast third, Protoss was still on 2 bases for a while, it should be an okay attack, right? And he actually got a decent starting position with the Zealots closing with the siege tanks, so I actually thought that entire clump of tanks was going to die, and yet somehow, with the reinforcements from the back, the Protoss just got crushed. I'm a bit surprised that actually happened. Meanwhile, we actually have a nice vessel patrol at the top, just to EMP any Arbiters. I don't know if he's coming back now. Did he see the Arbiter? Actually, wait, where's... Okay, I thought that Hobbs was an Arbiter, but it looks like there's actually no Arbiter going out just yet. A probe looks like it's going to go try and get a base at the 3 o'clock. dsaqwe needs to catch up a little bit on the economy. He's not in great shape right now.
Yeah, really not.
Now, do you know if he got recall first? Because his stasis isn't done yet.
I think he did. He was getting something, and I wouldn't imagine it would be Arbiter energy. So I think it must have been recall. But
where is his first Arbiter? I can't find it.
It's up at the top of his base, just outside the.
Oh, there it is.
But it's going to be a little while before he's got anything to do with that. And because of his earlier kind of failed attack, he's not going to have that many units to do a recall with. So it's going to be interesting because, of course, once you do a recall, the recall can do all the damage at once. But if the Terran player is then able to uproot immediately and kill you, then it's a bit of a moot point, and your recall will ultimately be cleaned up anyway. Yep. So dsaqwe is going to have to be really careful of that after that early little blunder with wasting a fair number of units on the Terran's defense. But he does have plenty of gateways. He should be able to macro up a decent army fairly quickly, and is now going straight to a 4th base as well, just trying to get ahead of the Terran while he has the chance. And this could be interesting, but vOddy is not too far away from 150 supply, which can be around about the time some Terrans choose to push. He might go all the way to max, though, looking at his factory count.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find his armory right now. Okay, it looks like he doesn't have any kind of sick upgrade timing, like a 2-1 timing, so maybe not necessarily going to push just yet, but he's got some nice anti-recall defense in the back of his main, and crucially, he's got a really nice supply lead over the Protoss, actually, like a 25 supply lead, when really it should be backwards. So, dsaqwe not in a happy place right now. Meanwhile, this little drop at the bottom right, not going in just yet, but as soon as it goes upwards, it's going to see this 3 o'clock base. It won't be able to do anything with those cannons there, but at least he'll know what's going on. Meanwhile, he's actually just going to be content to play more defensively, getting another command center, going to float this over to the middle here, so he's not going to try any kind of crazy attack here. He's just content to expand a little bit more, max out, get some decent upgrades, and then go for one giant fell swoop.
Yeah, I think that should be decent, although dsaqwe has dropship running straight into cannon fire there over on the right hand side. vOddy wasting that dropship quite badly there. I think this could work out fairly well for dsaqwe. He's gone for the gutsy expansions. I'm not quite sure off the back of what information he did that. I'm not sure how much he knew about what vOddy was doing. So maybe it's a little bit of luck involved there, but dsaqwe certainly very confidently went for that extra 4th base. So he might have had some information that we didn't know he had, but he may be able to get maxed at around about the same time as the Terran if he macros effectively.
Yeah, I think, as you say, it was a little bit lucky. It was kind of like a necessary risk, considering he was a little bit behind, not doing any damage to a fast expanding Terran. So yeah, I mean, the problem is though that maxing at the same time as Terran is actually bad for Protoss, because you need to be maxed ahead of him so you can start adding on bases and gateways. If you have to
recall.
Recall in the main. I was like clicking all over trying to find it.
Yeah, sorry, I should say recall in the main next time.
Okay, we got it. Alright, how much damage is he doing? He's gonna snipe the main commander. It looks like that is definitely gonna fall.
Maybe not. The command center might not go down. Why is there a repair on it? There needs to be a repair on that command center right away. It's on 22 health and runs the risk of actually burning down. He's moving it back into range of the Dragoons. That is not good, but there is now a repair on it. So it looks like it's just going to inch through to survival. Goliath's scaring away and ultimately getting rid of the Arbiter, and the drop is cleaned up. And that doesn't go too badly. I don't think he actually killed any buildings whatsoever in that recall.
Yeah, that command center was one shot away from dying, and yet it somehow managed to survive. And now, as you say, that becomes a really good exchange for vOddy. Meanwhile, it looks like the Protoss army is now coming down into the middle to try and get something done, but the Terran army is moving out to intercept here, make sure this inside base stays alive. He might get a couple of tank kills here, but yeah, it looks like he's going to snipe the vessel, but otherwise he's going to have to back up here. Meanwhile, he's going to try and start adding on some gateways and a base at the bottom right, but look at these, dsaqwe's plummeted down to 130 supply, really not able to make too much happen here, and it looks like having some traffic jam issues in the main base as well.
He finds himself in a hard position now because it's difficult for him to see an easy way back into this. Can he recall? Yes, he can recall, but then he runs a serious risk of dying.
Move out. We got an engagement here in the middle of the map. Nice D-Matrix on the leading siege tank. There's only Dragoons, no Zealots. They do snipe the vessel, but he's got to back up here. Cannot engage without Zealots. Where's the rest of the army? Oh my god, there's just no units here for dsaqwe. He's got a lot of minerals. Why does he not have more Zealots? He's pumping out a lot more Zealots right now, but this is too late. The Terran army is just going to walk straight through the middle of the map. This is where the Protoss should be engaging. It's the open ground. By the time he actually gets the Zealots out, the Terran army's gonna be on top of him. What is this Arbiter doing? Oh my god, he's gonna get chased down by Goliaths. Oh, and a missed stasis completely. Oh no.
dsaqwe's tournament play is just, it's really, really bizarre. I can't quite figure out how an A-rank player kind of suffers so badly under the pressure. It's very, very strange.
Stasis?
And he's going in for a big attack now. There is no stasis left in that Arbiter. I believe it was EMP'd. He might just have the units, but I don't think so. The Zealots all running out right there and dying. He does have a couple of gateways coming in the bottom right-hand corner. He's pumping some DTs right now, which of course what one does when in a terrible situation, make DTs. The army from vOddy isn't that big anymore, but dsaqwe just can't produce anything to equal it. He's on 133 supply, whilst vOddy is on 169. So that puts vOddy just way ahead, and dsaqwe looks like he's going to once again go out to an underdog. He's doing some kind of damage to the back of vOddy's army right now, but doing no more than losing a few Zealots and retreating, really not being able to make any headway. And vOddy making another base for himself now as well, and it's looking all golden from here on in. He's just able to keep macroing and keep squashing his opponent down.
Meanwhile, vOddy is at least going to go harass his bottom left base and stop that from finishing. But yeah, dsaqwe's in terrible position.
GT power at the right-hand side. Look at that.
Nice. Actually going to save that Nexus as well. even though it's not mining anymore. Meanwhile, a stream of Vultures heading down to the bottom right. A couple of goons, a couple of cannons there. Probably not enough, though, because the rest of the Terran army is following up. There's one Ops spotting that, but dsaqwe doesn't have anything he can do about it. And oh man, still some tanks left at the front are going to stop any chance of reinforcement, although he does actually force vOddy to pull back a little bit, but no, vOddy realizes there's no danger. He's going to continue with the attack, and dsaqwe is just in serious trouble. I mean, all his fresh bases are getting denied. He's going to be mined out, actually, relatively soon, whereas vOddy is just fine. And I'm surprised at how good vOddy's Terran play is. I did not know he had a good Terran. You know, he was a good Terran. I knew he was a decent Protoss and Zerg, but man, this is really surprising here.
Yeah, he's doing a very, very good job. It hasn't been anything revolutionary, but he's played very solidly, at least in a pretty standard, if slightly old-fashioned playstyle. dsaqwe is just hanging on, doing his absolute best, producing DTs as fast as he possibly can, but I don't know if even that's going to save him at this point. DT's pretty good. I don't know if they're that good to kill an entire Terran army. He's doing what he can, and those DTs down at the bottom right-hand corner are doing some decent damage to the tank and Vulture force, taking out a good number of the siege tanks and still doing their thing, but they are finally going to be dealt with, although there is still one remaining, and those DTs actually could clean up the majority of this force, which is going down to the bottom right-hand side. All the probes are gone, and finally the DTs go down, but not before doing a huge amount of damage. And dsaqwe still in a horrible, horrible position. 120 supply now. It's doing nothing but tick down, whereas vOddy is staying firmly near max on 184 right now.
It's quite funny. I mean, that's the beauty of those emergency DTs, is that if the Terran's not on the ball about scanning, and even if he gets a couple of unlucky scans, they can do massive amounts of damage while he's not paying attention. And you don't even have to really micro them. You just kind of, you know, A-move them and let them do their thing. You can kind of right-click a few tanks if you want. Meanwhile, a bit of an engagement in the middle of the map. Zealot's closing with siege tanks. A decent position for the Protoss here. The Terran army is a little bit spread out, but it looks like some reinforcements coming in now, and dsaqwe is going to have to back up here. There's no way he can engage. It looks like he's going to snipe a couple of science vessels. They did have a decent amount of energy, so that's a nice little catch there. But unfortunately, he's down at 110 supply against 173. Looks like that bottom left base still hasn't gone back up again, so vOddy doesn't have too many more minerals to mine. He's mainly mining from his inside expansion, but I don't think it really matters because he's keeping the pressure on here, really not letting dsaqwe get any room to do anything. You know, any kind of recall is just not going to happen. All the Protoss forces having to just defend, although there is one Arbiter with energy going in to the left side, but that's going to get taken down by the turrets, and the recall goes off. I was just going to say, but is that really the best idea? This base, as you can see, is not even mining, and all those units now are not there to defend his own expansion, so he's going to lose 2 bases for this one unmining Terran base.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was at all worth it. I don't know how it possibly could be. That CC was doing nothing except looking pretty and providing scan, and those aren't 2 huge services at this stage of the game. He's going to be able to take that out, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. vOddy is just able to push on and is able to take out the last dsaqwe's mining bases. So what you see is what you get right now from our Protoss player. He has got no more to work with. He is mounting some kind of interesting attack on vOddy's main, which could actually make some decent headway conceivably. It's pushing on forward. Going to be a bit of siege tank resistance, but nothing too great, and he should be able to deal with that fairly smartly. And these Dragoons are actually doing a good job of cutting off reinforcements, which, it has to be said, is a fairly valuable role right now.
Yeah, this is actually doing a ridiculous amount of damage considering it's just a handful of goons. But it looks like vOddy's going to be key with some mines. Oh, is it going to be good? Not quite. It actually blows up some of his own Vultures as well. Meanwhile, a cloaked group of units is coming in here, although there is a nice EMP on those units, and it looks like between the tanks and the mines, it will be enough to stop those Dragoons. Meanwhile, a secret gateway at the bottom right base, a random gateway at the right side also getting taken down. This goon group is down to just 5, although there is an undefended inside expansion now, but vOddy's actually taking the other inside expansion at the bottom right. So even if he loses a few SCVs here, he's probably not too upset. But yeah, dsaqwe really doing a good job here. He's actually brought vOddy down to 134 supply, although he himself is only down at 84, so still not a good position, but he's fighting in any way he can.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, going at it tooth and nail, and really doing a seriously pretty good job of holding on. It's hard to be that
DTs, Elegant. He's got them double cloaked. He's got DTs under Arbiters.
If only double cloak actually worked, so it needed 2 scan to reveal, and that would be pretty sick. But of course, that would be ridiculously imber as well, so let's forget I ever came up with that day.
Yeah, and because I mean, DTs aren't imber at the moment anyway, right?
Yeah, they're already imber. And they're going to wander down, a whole bunch of mines, and they're going to get pretty much, melted. Only 1 cloaked zealot remaining. He's going to do his bit, though. Yeah. Laying in to that group of tanks, and there's a Dragoon and another zealot coming in as well, and he's actually going to be able to clear out this group of tanks. And vOddy, look at that, there's a DT down there as well in the other open base in the middle of the map, just taking out SCVs as quickly as he like. Finally picked off by a distant siege tank over there, but only after nice EMP going off on 2 arbiters right now. And dsaqwe is he's in a rough spot. He's producing off 1 single gateway, which interestingly he's got 3 dragoons queued in. I don't know if that's really the most efficient use of his gateways, and very sensibly.
Oh man, what? Dude, there's like 10 gateways and he's queuing up 3 goons in one of them. What the hell? dsaqwe. I mean, I know you've lost the game already, but still, you know, we've got principles to uphold here.
Yeah,
you know?
That was strange. I think though the dsaqwe, if he'd have done that recall earlier, that actually worked really, really well for him. He cut off reinforcements and he was then able to play guerrilla warfare a little bit with small units, with small bunches of units somewhere out in the middle of the map, and it worked really, really well for him, whittling down the Terran push. If he'd have only done that earlier, I think it would have maybe looked very different. But he was just too. I don't know what he was, but he didn't pick his engagements carefully enough, and it just all went wrong from him.
It's alright, man. He's doing some probe DT harass. It's sick. Oh wait, no, the probe died. Alright. He's attacking with 6 units here. Alright, no, 5 units. 5 units. Okay, we're still good. We've got a cloak. That's good. That's good. I mean, these are basically like ranged DTs right now. But no, Vessel Marimba. Alright.
Yeah, that's
Alright. Oh, he just dematrix. Wait, what did he just dematrix?
Nothing important.
Oh, this is tank in the back. Okay.
Yeah, back. Taking out the last of the arbiters. I think dsaqwe is looking like a player who can't really quite believe what's happening.
No, GG. dsaqwe has left the game.
dsaqwe has left the tournament.
Oh,
going
man.
out to vOddy.
I don't know why he's mad though. vOddy's not that bad. He's like B+ or something.
Yeah, vOddy's not bad at all,
Yeah.
but it's like he just expected more out of himself than that. And like,
Well, I mean, it was a PVT on a map that's really good for PVT, and I don't know. He's probably a bit frustrated as well.
I don't know if we can put it down to that. It didn't seem like a map issue. It seemed like a dsaqwe issue. He just didn't give the best account of himself, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Poor dsaqwe. Maybe one day. One day.
Maybe one day. I do have vague memories of him playing well in tournaments occasionally. I don't know if I'm just making it up.
Can we just like seed him directly into Seeki's group to snipe Seeki, and then he can just get knocked out and it's fine? Can we just do that?
Although that, I feel
and just like don't tell him it's a tournament. Just be like, yeah, just play these practice games against Seeki, it'll be fine. And then just take the replays and be like, yeah, this is TLS, totally. And he knocks out Seeki, and it's like, good, job done, don't need dsaqwe anymore.
It'd be like one of those reality shows where it's like, you've just been punked, you're in TLS, how do you feel? And he's like, oh, I had no idea. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That would be pretty sweet. Alright, so we're going to go to a break again and come back for some more games. Don't go anywhere, guys.